Hey Patreon, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and it's time for another exciting episode of Fireside Chats and Feed Your Fiend. And so this is where, for those of you that are new, this is one of the videos that's open to everybody on every level, and we feed stuff every week because YouTube made me mad. And typically I go on some kind of rant with whatever on my mind. And because my life is hectic, there's always something on my mind. So today, we're going to focus on some of the young ones. There's a reason we're doing that. These are the ones that I know are going to eat because, well, these aren't the small ones, are they?
Yeah, the really small ones?
Well, I need the smaller ones than this, yeah. Feeding babies here, Kurt. Feeding babies.
Be this one.
It'd be that one. I grabbed the wrong tub of rats. So this is what we're looking for. Oh yeah, this is much better. And we're going to start right here because I think this is a gorgeous snake. What this is my super pastel axanthic. You hungry, buddy? Oh, look at that. That's a good sign. He's going to eat. So we'll put that right in there. We'll let him catch his dinner. And in the meantime, I'm going to talk about what I think is the worst way in the world to sell reptiles. There you go. Good job. Good job.
Is that on the side of the road? Rush hour traffic?
No. I'd sell a reptile on the side of the road in rush hour traffic. I'd sell a reptile while eating breakfast with green eggs and ham because Dr. Seuss said it's okay to do. I'd even sell them to a cat in a hat. But I'll tell you what I wouldn't do. Okay, there's some dirty sides to this business, and some of those dirty sides, they hide themselves in happy names, and so. And boy, let me tell you, with the things I've done in the world lately, yeah, you can handle that. There you go. I do own part of a pet shop, and a pet shop by nature is a flipping organization. It just is. That's why my snakes here aren't typically found. Is that thing scaring you? That's horrible. Aren't found in the pet shop. But one of my pet peeves is when you go to a reptile show or online or wherever, and it's people that flip. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's reptile flipping. And let me be clear, we all, and if you haven't done it yet and you're in this for a while, you probably will flip the occasional reptile from time to time. But there's a difference in flipping the occasional reptile and being a dirty, nasty, stinky flipper. Let me explain. Somebody who is what I consider a flipper, the vast majority of their business is on taking in other animals, usually buying wholesale or whatever they can do, and then trying to sell them as fast as they can. Look at that. Boom sauce. Oh! To turn a quick profit. Or they'll take in even the free rescues. Like, man, rescue, that term is just so bastardized in this industry. And what I mean is this, if rescue would be, I'll show you an animal that I've called a rescue before that's really not a rescue. Here she is. I say she's a rescue all the time. Hi there, big girl. And it's because I went to look at her and I bought her. That's why she's not really a rescue. She was...
Off of Craigslist?
I did. She was in some horrid conditions, though. Case in point. So truth be told, she was being kept like complete shit. And I bought her with the intention of keeping her. I bought her because somebody needed to. Originally I went and looked at her because it's an adult female. I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And I was like, holy shit, you just need a new home. So we got the price where it was right, and I took her. But is it really a rescue? I don't know if you consider that a rescue or not. Usually if you're paying for it, it's not necessarily a rescue. But you will get people who will pay really little for a rescue for a rehoming fee or whatever the hell they want to call it. And then they'll turn around and they'll post that animal for sale within a week asking money for it. And I've seen those same people that do that then turn around and want to call out ethical dilemmas on other folks. Like there's an example, and I'm not going to say names. I'm just not into saying names. Who I know will say that they want to breed someday, but they haven't bred, and that what they currently do to run their reptile business, if you want to call it that, is they take in rescues and they take in unwanted animals and they take animals other people don't want, and they at least disclose who they're taking it from. So say they do is they're going to sell it, and they just quick flip sell it. So they take it, oh, it's here, looks somewhat healthy, we're going to sell it. Now, the one that comes to mind for full disclosure, one of the reasons I'm not saying their name is I honestly don't know how long they keep the animal for before they post it for sale. And if you keep it for long enough that you've got a relationship with that animal, you've gotten all the stress out of it, you know, you've been feeding it for 3 or 4 months or whatnot, then that's okay. So maybe they're doing it right. Maybe. But I do know a lot of people that don't. I have seen people go to a reptile show, go to a guy's table, try to buy a bunch of crap really cheap as a package deal, and then have it for sale on their table 5 minutes later. I've watched it happen. And then somebody will come along and ask questions about the animal, and they'll sit there and act like they know all about that animal. And that to me is shady and it's dirty. And the reason I think that's shady and dirty is you don't know shit about that animal. And you're putting your reputation on the line to make a little bit of extra money because you don't know who you bought it from, or maybe you know them, but you don't know the condition of that animal, and you're reselling it, and you're claiming that you know what's up with it when you really don't. And you have a high chance of selling something that's sick or might infect or whatever because you don't know what you're doing when you do that. And I know none of the people here, I don't think any of you guys do that, so this isn't accusatory there in any way, shape, or form. But what I'm getting at is if any of you hear me saying, oh, hey, here's a quick way to make money, don't do it. Just don't do it. Because you can't make money at it. You can. But it's not going to be the way I'd want to run my reptile business.
What happens if the person you sell that animal to has trouble with it and asks you for help?
You're going to just have to make up some shit. And that's what they do. Or they just don't answer the phone. Or they'll be like, oh, try this. You know, oh, I don't know. It was eating great when I had it. How? You had it for 30 seconds. Like, you know, damn. Let the animal, like, oh. You know, I've seen people order shit and have it sold before they even get it. So they order it, they got it post for sale. Well, it comes in, and they're putting it in a box the next week and shipping it back out. Then they wonder why it stresses and dies. Well, I can tell you why it dies. It's pretty fucking obvious, really. So just be very careful in who you deal with at a table. You know, that's one of the reasons why we did the serial number. You see that number, you know it's mine. And we talked about coming up with a different numbering system for things we might buy and sell or things we bought and had it for a long time and go to sell. But we've never done it because we don't want it to muddy the waters. And when I say everybody will flip from time to time, here's a situation where I may find myself, and I've done it, you know, flipped an animal or two, is where we want to buy this set of animals and they don't want to break them up. They want to sell all 5 together because they just want to get done with whatever they're doing. So we buy all 5 of these animals together. And truth be told, there's only 3 we want, and there's 2 we don't want, we don't need. So we're going to resell those 2. What I typically do is keep those 2 for a while still, and try to make sure they're doing good or whatnot. And if I sell them quick, what I'll tell the person is, hey, I don't know much about this animal. I just got it. I bought it as part of a package, and this is the deal. I disclose that to them because it's very, very important when you do crap like that they know what they're getting into. So if it goes south, they're not going to be like, oh, you ripped me off. No, you were fully open with him. So just don't be a dirty flipper. And try not to support flippers if you can avoid it at shows and things, just because I personally think they're bad for the hobby. And I have heard people that I know flip want to sit there and talk about, oh, well, how dare people produce champagne or produce spider and take this moral, ethical high ground. And I kind of have to chuckle because I'm like, you're going to take an ethical high ground about an animal you don't know shit about and a morph you don't know shit about because of one example or something you saw on the internet once. Meanwhile, you're sitting there flipping the hell out of animals. You want to talk about an ethical dilemma, you're purposely taking in animals that are under bad conditions and trying to turn around and rehome them for a fee or whatever you want to call it. That's selling. When you're rehoming for a fee, you're selling something. That term actually came from Facebook back in the day when they wouldn't let you post animal for sale. So you had to say, or not, sorry, Craigslist. So you had to say rehoming, asking for rehoming fee, because you couldn't say for sale on an animal. It was fucking stupid. But that's where that whole idea of rehoming for a fee came from. And you're selling. That's what you're doing. And I'll see people doing that and then want to question the ethics of breeders who know their animals. And I'm talking actual breeders, breeders that produce animals, not people who I know that flip and want a one-day breed, which is fine. I mean, not everybody's there yet. I get that, but don't flip in the meantime. And then question our ethics because we produce certain animals and how terrible that is for the animal. Well, look at what you're doing if you're saying that. If you're buying animals and turning around and trying to resell them as fast as you can, that you know didn't get very well taken care of and you know came from bad situations, they're A, probably already stressed, B, there's a decent chance they're sick, C, I mean, you're going to pull stuff into your collection doing that. I don't know, man. That to me is more of an ethical dilemma, I think. But that's just me. That's kind of my rant of the day. And no, this is not about anyone in particular. This is a thought I've pieced together from several different individuals and watching what they do and not all about one, which is another reason why we didn't drop names. So don't take any inference on, oh, I think Matt's talking about blank, 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 because I'm not. I'm talking about several people crammed into one and just, but it does tend to be some of the, I don't know, I think worst things people can do in this hobby. Kurt, what do you think?
I want to know why you're feeding everything in a chair.
Because when I have a serious discussion, I feel that when I'm setting, it's more approachable. It actually comes from one of the greatest presidents, and old Teddy Roosevelt. Well, he probably was one of the greatest. People seem to think he was kind of a badass. In his fireside chats, where he would sit down and he would talk to the people, you know, by the fireside. And I think when you're having a deep conversation, or really a shared thought, not just trying to be a goofy bastard, sitting is a more approachable place to be in. It's not showing a position of power where you're lording over something. It's showing a more passive conversational place to be in the body position of the world. That's why I'm sitting, Kurt. But thanks for trying to bust me out. My back also hurts like a motherfucker, but that's beside the point. Anything else? Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.